I understand, though, Tony Khan has been making some news. Tony has been, and I mean news literally, he's been on a bunch of different news programs and on the case of Fox News in specific, which I kind of like anybody taking the piss out of them. But how did this all get started?
I'm just getting caught up to this too. But apparently FoxNews.com put up an article. The writer is Ryan Gatos. I don't know if he's an opinion writer. I don't know if he's a sports columnist. I'm not exactly sure who the hell this guy is, to be quite honest with you. But the article, I'm going to guess he's a sports writer. Jaguars Urban Meyer drama. AEW excitement cooling off. Part of rough month for Khans. Now, we had previously talked on the show, Jim, about Urban Meyer, who was the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. What was long overdue and what everyone knew was going to happen before the season started. He was just fired by Shad Khan this past week.
Apparently, he was about as popular as Crotch Rot with the football fans and had bollocksed everything up. And so this was, as you said, overdue and expected. So they fired him. That made all the news. And the folks at Fox grouped AEW in with the Jaguars' woes and turmoil.
They did, and I'm scanning through this article right now, and obviously it's talking a little bit about Tony Khan's father and the Jaguars, and I don't think that really pertains to any of this. I'm trying to see where it gets to AEW. AEW had a very successful summer with the acquisitions of CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, and Adam Cole from WWE. AEW shows Dynamite and Rampage each popped with more than 1 million total viewers at their peaks. Dynamite peaked at 1.319 million viewers September 8th when CM Punk addressed fans for the first time, appearing at All Out. Rampage peaked at 1.129 million on August 20th when Punk made his debut in Chicago. Since then, things have cooled off, with Rampage attracting around 500,000 viewers. Dynamite attracted over 900,000 viewers Wednesday for the first time since mid-November, thanks to its Winter is Coming special. As things move into the new year, the Jaguars will be back to square one with a high draft pick and in need of a new coach for the 2022 season. AEW will look to build upon some of the momentum it garnered towards the end of 2021. AEW will have a lot of time to build up its top stars, as its first pay-per-view of 2022 isn't set until March. And that's the article. That's the conclusion. Nothing too bad.
Not inflammatory, not a hit piece, pretty much factual statement.
Go
ahead.
I was going to say unless, and I'm looking at Tony's tweets, which we'll talk about in a second, unless Tony thinks there's a bigger thing here, unless Tony thinks it's not just some columnist writing an article on a website, unless Tony thinks this is Fox deliberately taking aim at, this is a content producer taking aim at another content producer.
Well, but now wait a minute, because Fox News and Fox Television, the network itself that SmackDown is on, all I know is there's plenty of fucking anti-Fox News on Family Guy, and it's on Fox. So I don't know if Fox News would be doing the bidding of the network division over there, and that didn't sound like a hit piece. If somebody was going to write a derogatory article about AEW, they had a lot more ammunition they could have used. But Tony apparently took quite an exception to what was written, even if it was somewhat more benign than one would think.
He did, and to be fair, and again, we don't know what this fight is, if it's a manufactured thing for Tony to look cool on Twitter, or if there's some deep meaning behind it. But Tony fought back the way I would. Here's some facts, you're an idiot. Boom, there you go. So I can't blame him for that, but here was the first tweet. Hey, at Fox News, it's amusing hearing you opining about AEW ratings, considering AEW Dynamite on Wednesday has beaten every single Fox News show for 6 straight weeks. Here are the recent charts, including this week, to prove it. See you tonight on TNT Drama, 10 p.m., Rampage.
And by the way, I saw that he sent screenshots with that tweet of the charts, and my God, I tried to get out a magnifying glass. These are charts, boy, that he sent. I'm thinking that what he said was true about the viewership, but it was nullified or mitigated a little bit by the fact that you'd have had to got a microscope to fucking read the specific.
Well, you have to click them. You have to actually click them and go to the chart.
I was still trying to fucking look at all that fine print.
Well, he retweeted the charts again. There was a second tweet. That first one was 5:48 p.m. The second one was 5:56 p.m., 8 minutes later. Thanks, Fox News. I appreciate that you've highlighted AEW's ratings when AEW Dynamite on Wednesdays has beaten every single show on your network for 6 straight weeks. Here are a few more charts. Twitter only let me attach 4 weeks worth to my last tweet. See you tonight. So that was tweet 2. There's a third tweet, but what are your thoughts on Tony basically saying, hey, if you're going to bring it up, here's the reality of it.
Well, he should fight back. And I appreciate him doing that. And also it's good to know that people are starting to see through Fox News and their ratings are going down as well.
And then the final tweet, 6:17 p.m. Did you know AEW Dynamite on Wednesdays on TNT Drama has beaten every single show on Fox News for 6 straight weeks? Surely Fox News knows, as they like talking TV ratings, maybe they should focus on their content instead of playing bore on the floor. See you tonight on AEW Rampage. So there, within a half hour, 3 tweets, which made this an issue. I don't think anyone even really paid attention to this article until this kind of brought it to everyone's attention.
Well, and again, if they're going to say something, he decided he'd stir it up a little bit, and that's probably gotten more. Tony's comments and tweets have gotten more play and more attention amongst the wrestling fans than the original Fox News article, which I would assume, since it was majorly about the football team, most of the wrestling fans might have overlooked unless they were just reading it on, by accident.
Hey, can I ask you your opinion on something? Because in this past week, we have seen, here's Tony Khan, and it's happened before. It's happened with just fans, but here it is with Fox, where Tony Khan is kind of, you say going after someone, but he's hitting someone with facts in what I'm sure in his mind is a comeback. But he's using Twitter. Elon Musk used Twitter to go back and forth with Elizabeth Warren. Steve Cohen, who owns the Mets, just announced a new managerial hire, which is a great move. Buck Showalter, what a move. He's like the Jim Cornette of baseball.
Is that good or bad?
Without the cursing, but with all the firings. But he just announced it on Twitter. What do you think of the idea that, some older people or some people who just are against social media will say, oh my God, it's so beneath a CEO to use Twitter to get a message out there. But we're seeing it more and more, and we're seeing it from seasoned executives and very successful businessmen. Do you have any problem with Tony or any CEO of a company using Twitter in this way?
Well, no, because that's what people are reading now. We've passed the point where anybody's actually going to pick up a fucking legitimate newspaper like the Washington Post or the New York Times or whatever, or a magazine. Do they even print Time or Newsweek anymore? Everybody reads Twitter and Facebook. That's why the average fucking person in the world today is a complete fucking imbecile, because they don't read responsible journalism that's fact-checked and produced by professionals that have gone to school and trained for this. They read Facebook and Twitter. So everybody's a complete fucking idiot. So if you want to talk to the existing idiots, you got to be on Facebook or Twitter. No, I don't think he shouldn't do that, because do you think a lot of anybody's fan base anymore is over there reading the goddamn, the New Yorker magazine, or are they reading fucking Twitter?
It's certainly the forum to use to swing public opinion.
Yes, because the average member of the public is an uninformed, unintellectual fucking moron. That's what we've done with our society. We had all the accumulated knowledge of history down through the ages in encyclopedias and libraries. We had major news institutions and news gathering sources and organizations and newspapers and magazines to keep us informed. And along comes the internet, and every jackoff can fucking announce his viewpoints to the world. And now we have a bunch of lying sacks of shit, and a bunch of gullible morons, and a bunch of complete fucking uninformed imbeciles wandering around. So progress.
But you have no problem with Tony Khan or anyone. I mean, can you imagine if you had Twitter when you were running Smoky Mountain Wrestling?
Well, I wouldn't have been saying anything to...
well, you would have been keeping kayfabe, that's true.
I was about to say I wouldn't have been saying anything to protect Smoky Mountain Wrestling, because the promotion was my enemy. That would have been Bob Armstrong's job.
So the made-up person in the office who handled social media, which would be you...
yes.
what would this guy be doing on social media? Would he be out of control?
No, he'd be pointing out the same thing. Well, you knock us, but more people watch us than watch you, so fuck off.
So no problem with Tony doing this?
No, not that.